seems alright still, but I'm shocked at that.
I don't do it, man.
That's a bit strange.
I see you're cooking some abominations, man. But this is on the topic of books, right? Basically, the Most High wanted it to where there's just one book containing this truth, because he could have had it where the whole world was flooded with the knowledge of Yahawashi through all the books. Because this is John 21:25. It says, "And there are also many other things which Yahawashi did, the which, if they should be written every one, I suppose that not even the world itself could contain the books that should be written." Amen.
Wow.
So Yahawah wanted it, so it's this narrow path, this one book which contains all this knowledge, and like you said, you've got libraries and universities full of all kinds of books, and these scholars and academians. We didn't have to go to Oxford or Cambridge to get this word. This is how the will of the Lord is, and basically all these other books are just out there to deceive the people.
Can you imagine, man? There's books, man, that you can't even purchase, man.
Yeah.
Because they're so highly
priced,
man, and the information in it is so they don't want the average person to access that knowledge, so they put it in a certain place, man. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll up the price.
Yeah.
There's certain books that you can't get access to in this world.
But you know why it is? Because there's certain information they don't want you to know.
Yeah.
But even in that, even that book alone, none of those books will save you. None of them, even those same ones that are so highly valued and you can't gain access to, are probably worth $1,000 or $2,000. You know what I'm saying? None of those books is going to save you. But the one book that will save you is the same book that is right up on your nose, man. Hidden in plain sight. You know? Go on.
When I woke up to this truth and I realised that this is where it was at, I was shocked, because all throughout my childhood and teenage years I'd always been searching for the truth, and when I realised hang on a minute, it's always been sitting here in this one book, I actually felt stupid for the fact that I'd overlooked so much knowledge and wisdom that was always under my nose. So all praise to
you're right,
Yahawashi.
because even in the book of Psalms, in that there's scriptures in there that even one who doesn't necessarily have the spirit on it can understand, and it brings and get wisdom out of it. It's true.
Like the Bible wasn't no book that some man just woke up one day and said, "Yeah, I want to write a story."
That's impossible.
That's impossible. Read the Bible and what's written in there, man. No man just woke up one day and said, "Yeah, I want to feel like writing a story one day." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that you couldn't even write that in your whole life. The different places and like Gaza and Jericho and you know what I'm saying, certain words of wisdom like Songs of Solomon. No young man could write that book. You know what I'm saying? Ecclesiasticus in that book. The Bible was a collection of books that was written at different time periods by different men. No one man could have written that book by himself. Because when you read the book of Proverbs, it's telling you ancient shit, man, like how to raise your child. You know, how to raise your son and shit. You know what I'm saying? To beat your son with the rod and stuff, and there's ancient proverbs and stuff, man. It was a collection of different books. It's a book that even the elites fear. That's why they've been putting so much money into trying to lie about this book.
And there's no contradictions.
I was going to say that because you said about how the different men that wrote them on different books through history, and there's no contradictions.
Exactly.
The people that say there's contradictions just have heard that as arguments against the scriptures,
but they can't prove it.
But they can't prove it.
And furthermore, the beautiful thing about it is it shows us the Holy Spirit that moved these men, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to go precept on precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little.
Throughout the whole book.
Even with the Apocrypha, which the Christians try and deny is not part of the Bible, which it actually is, if it wasn't part of the Bible, then you wouldn't be able to link precepts with it. And you wouldn't find like Peter talking about things in the Apocrypha, or even Yahawashi referencing things in the Apocrypha. You wouldn't see them linkages if it wasn't literally part of the book. It's lucky if I go into this, but like Muslims try and say, oh, the Quran is a holy inspired book when it doesn't link up with the scriptures at all. You read these two books and you can see it's clearly different. When you read the Bible, you start to understand the voice of the Most High and the way He puts things, like the dark parables and metaphors. The Quran's got none of that, and the Quran contains no prophecies either.
No prophecies, and it even proclaims that the children of Israel are the chosen. So it cuts itself in it as well.
And then it contradicts by saying that the Most High put them aside and has chosen the Ishmaelites. So that's a contradiction in itself.
Well, I'll continue reading what I was reading. So I'll start again. So this is Isaiah 63. Starting from the top, it says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom, with thy garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, travelling in the greatness of his strength. That I speak in righteousness, mighty to save."
All right, can you read that again?
Yeah.
For sure.
So this is Isaiah 63:1. It says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom, with dyed garments from Bozrah?"
Stop right there. So dyed garments from Bozrah. This is referring to Yahawashi. Okay, and Bozrah is talking about America. This is the capital of Edom. And that's what Yahawashi is going to do. Come with dyed garments. And then dyed garments represent the bloodshed from these other nations. You say anymore?
And just to say, because Bozrah is where the Edomites dwelt in them ancient days, that's why that represents Edom today. It says, "Traveling in the greatness of his strength, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save."
So traveling in the glory of his strength. What's the glory of his strength? What we saw earlier on, them chariots.
Nice, man.
That's what Yahawashi is going to come in.
Nice.
Okay, and mighty to save, because Yahawashi, he is mighty to save, and he's going to save his elect, and we're hoping to be of that number. Anything else?
Yeah. There's more. It says, therefore, verse 2. It says, "Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat?"
What happens when you tread grapes? You get all you get the what do you call it? You get the blood from the grapes. That's similar to what Yahawashi treading upon these nations. That's the wine press.
I'll just add something. It's also a very violent process to smash the grapes. You know what I mean? You're not going to be like tiptoeing on them. You're like
You have to crush them
smashing
under
them,
your
man.
feet. Crush them under your feet. Literally. It says, "I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come."
That's it. The day of vengeance. What does vengeance means? Recompense, and it's in Yahawashi's mind. And what does it say in the Psalm of David? "Sit thou at my right hand until I make thy enemies a footstool." So as you said, he's going to tramp down. What's a footstool? It's for your feet. So Yahawashi's going to be tramping these nations down. That's a good analogy.
Can I say something? I've got a precept as well, but I've just said this before. When you look at the image of Cesare Borgia, where he's like, like that, you can't even imagine that image doing what is said in the scriptures about having a
You didn't even do that justice, because he looks like a straight up effeminate, like doe-eyed, sissy. And the way they portray of Jesus Christ.
And there's a thing as well. The scriptures say it is a shame for a man to have long hair, and he's always got that long hair down. I mean, it doesn't add up. But I just want to bring a precept on this topic. It says, Daniel's 2:44. It says, "And in these days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and shall stand forever." So Yahawashi is coming back to set up his kingdom, and it's never going to be taken down. You're not going to have, like in this country, when I go to the shops, I see these newspapers, and they've got caricatures of Donald Trump and Boris Johnson, like these stupid drawings. You're not going to have that in the kingdom of heaven. There's not going to be anybody mocking the kings and the rulers of that nation. It's just going to be complete order,
What precept was that you were reading?
Sorry, I didn't call it. Daniel 2:44.
Yeah, because that's spiritual anyway. Because if you went up, read from the top, Daniel's 2, and I don't know where it was, it tells you about the previous kingdoms that came and that went. So there's going to be none of that. Like the Assyrian kingdom, the Greek, the Roman kingdom, all these kingdoms came and when. But after Yahawashi kingdoms come, that's going to be it. There's going to be no, what the Christians call revival.
Yeah.
There ain't going to be no revival of Esau's kingdom. It's going to be Yahawashi's kingdom. Eternal.
Man, I say something else as well. Those Christians who try and say, like vocabulary tries to say the Edomites were done away with, that's going against the prophecy of Daniel that we just read with the kingdoms. Because if Esau was done away with, how could he have his kingdom at his time? You know, so they're going off in that.
Daniel 7 and 18. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even
Hey, so the saints are going to take the kingdom. And who are the saints? You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Indianos. We're going to take the kingdom. We're going to possess it. Okay? Was there anything else on this?
This is the
They shall
kingdom,
take the
man.
kingdom and possess it. And what does possess mean? To have, to take. And part of that possession is slaves. We're going to have slaves. We're going to have inheritance. You know, we're going to have gold, which I'm looking forward to. I want gold, man. Women.
The streets will be gold.
Yeah,
Let me get that
mentions
precept.
in
Let me get that
Revelations 20,
precept
the streets
again.
going to be paved with gold.
This is Jeremiah 49 and 21. It says, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. It says, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle and spread his wings over Bozrah. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs.
Ooh. That's a cold cut to Esau right there.
Cold cut, man. So look, that's basically, you know, Esau, Edom is the proud man. But in that day, when Yahawashi comes through, you know, pursuant to Revelation 1 and 7, they're going to be in derision, man. They're going to be in complete fear, man. You know. Why is that? Because they're the wicked, man. They're the ones that, you know, the Lord is coming to take revenge on. Right?
Yeah.
Because they've touched the apple of the Lord's eye, man. They've gone against all these law, statutes, and commandments. You know, they're coming off like they're the power of the universe, man. You
You
don't mind.
That darkness.
Brother, one second. Take it easy.
What Esau's power is basically in the strength of his lies. That's why he tries to flood everything with lies. Like, for example, let me give a little brief testimony. I was watching a couple of videos recently from the elder Malcolm, I think he's from the Chicago campus. And he's doing these videos like where he's trying to bring out the edification, and oftentimes you see these adverts pop up and he's like, you know, where the hell is this advert coming from? And what I noticed about advertising is that Esau tries to do that to distract you. So basically, when you're trying to focus on something and study, then all of a sudden some advert pops up and you're like distracted, like it takes your mind off it. It's kind of like when you see children and maybe there's something that the child keeps going to and you don't want it to go there, so you try and like, you wiggle the rattle or something to get the child's attention away from it. That's how Esau tries to deceive the people, through always trying to feed them some nonsense or some madness. Like, for example, you see these TikTok things pop up where people being stupid, you know, and that, as the scriptures say, folly is setting great dignity.
That's right.
And people give their attention over to these things when really, like the elder was saying, you only need this one book. This is where your whole focus should be.
Yeah, man, because what? He is actually dumb the people down. So all it takes really is his little his foolishness, his TikTok and all these other things that he brings out for the distractions, man. He's got the world distracted, man. I've got something here. This is Isaiah 25. And I'll start at 7. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So that's all that bullshit, that all the lies and distractions that Esau's put out there to not only blind the rest of the people, but to more Shalom. But to more blind the children of Israel, man, that elect.
You're speaking on that covering cast, you can also equate that with these nations. A lot of these nations still, you ask them where you come from, they still say they're Pakistani, you know, or they're Chinese, you know, and all that. So that's part of that covering.
That's what it says, man, that over all nations, man. So all nations are deceived. Even his own people are deceived, because they're walking around calling themselves Caucasians and white people. But they're Edomites, man. They're the people of the scriptures that are cursed, man, that are going to be destroyed by Yahawashi.
The most beautiful thing about it, if I might say as well, is that even though Edomites try and deny the Bible, you know this truth is hurting them. You can see it in their eyes, man. Like, you just know it's cutting them up inside. But let me just bring out a quick precept. Isaiah 60:2 for did you read this? I don't know. I'll bring it out.
Still read it. Still
Yeah,
read it
yeah.
again.
Alright, let me start from Isaiah 60:1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahawah is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. Now, may I just say as well, I was sitting on the train coming here, and I was sitting opposite a man and his woman. And it's quite funny, it's not funny actually, but I was sitting there, and the man was sitting there and he had this like crooked, like bent over posture, and he's looking at his woman. And I was looking at this guy thinking, man, you're so bent over for a woman, and you can't even sit up straight like a man, you know? And the woman, she was like, she had this haughty look in her eyes, and she thought she was good looking.
Yeah.
And she was like, you know, the way the girls play hit them and like, man, and the guy was still simping.
Yeah.
And then I looked at her left hand, and I noticed that this girl had like, it was like this. Basically, she had 3 fingers that weren't there, and only a stub for a little finger and a stub for a thumb. And it's like half of her hand was gone, and I thought, ooh, it didn't look like she lost it in an accident, it looked like a birth defect.
Yeah.
And I realised this, and I thought, shit, man, that's the judgment from the Most High. And I thought, you know what, man, the Most High must have judged her for whatever it was to give her this condition. Now, she looked decent, she had a nice face and stuff, but then I looked at her eyes, and it was just like darkness.
Calm.
You know what I mean? There was no light in her, and I
Yeah,
thought, you know what, man, she's just a dark soul.
Yep.
And this guy is simping
Yep.
for her, like, you know, and I
Yep.
just thought,
Because you're not looking beyond the beauty, beyond the surface. A lot of men, yeah.
yeah, they just, the scriptures
Surface,
say,
yeah.
Yeah, Salakia. The scriptures say, stumble not at a woman's beauty and desire her not for pleasure. Now, obviously, we're in the flesh. Remember, you are going to like women, but the point is that you shouldn't put your manhood on the shelf
Yep.
just to try and get a woman. And I sat there, I was thinking about it, so thinking, you know what? This is why, giving a little personal testimony. This is why I don't have a woman, because I've never been one to sort of bend my back
Yeah.
to fit into a woman's world. The woman's
Yeah.
either got to walk to my tune, or she ain't walking with me at all. So you know what I mean? That's just how I roll.
Yeah.
The men of this world, like, I noticed that the more effeminate you are, the more women will kind of
Yes.
gravitate towards you.
Yes.
Because the woman will then be in control, and then you're going to be following after her ways and taking
Yeah.
after her. Like, she's going to be running the show, basically.
Yeah.
And that's what feminism promotes.
Yes. Yes.
And it goes to show how spiritual it really is, because he talks about how the man was all